Darkness, pitch black like the darkest midnight sky. Frantically, looking, searching, for anything. Quietly, many voices whispering, slowly getting louder, reminding me that I am nothing, will always be nothing, and no matter what I do, it will never be enough. Try not to listen, but there's nothing else to do. Giving up is easier. Not yet. My name is Mandisa, and my speech today will be about racial discrimination. My race has, and unfortunately will always be, the most noticeable thing about me. Facing racial discrimination at a young age, I felt lonely, alienated, even though I was surrounded by people. I constantly told myself that it wasn't my fault, but soon my voice got quieter and quieter until I was only a shell of the confident little girl I once was. I started to read more about a few influencing advocates for racial equality: Oprah Winfrey, Mahatma Gandhi. The more I learned, the more I realized how important it is that people be educated on how serious racial discrimination is, who is affected by acts of discrimination, and how we can eradicate it. Racial discrimination is a very serious thing that's happening in our society, but every time the subject is brought up, we tend to only focus on the extremities that happened many years ago, whether it's African American slavery or more recent events like First Nations residential schools. Many things are still happening in our society today. It ranges from instances that seem small, like racist jokes and verbal harassment, to more extreme events like shootings, bombings, physical harassment, and hate crimes in general. 2 years ago, our own country reached its highest hate crime rate, with 2,073 reported crimes, a 50% increase since 2014. Many people who belong to visible minorities live with racial discrimination. People are harassed and assaulted because they look different. The feeling of isolation and rejection is enough to make people doubt their self-worth, become depressed, and in extreme cases become suicidal. Millions of people living in Canada and the United States are scared just to walk outside, let alone attend school, go to work. They feel victimized about something they have no control over. Just because somebody is Muslim, Jewish, Asian, African, and many more doesn't mean they're less of a person. No matter how bad things were, there are still things we can do to help. Discrimination of any sort starts mostly with fear, so the simplest solution would be not to fear someone because of the way they look. But it's slightly more complicated than that, because in order for somebody to not be afraid, they have to understand. So it's our job to educate people about equality for all, that if we work together to accept each other, we can make the future we live in so much better. In conclusion, although racial discrimination is a serious problem that has plagued our continent for decades, if we work united to educate the people around us about how to love and accept each other, as well as bring those who face racial discrimination out of the darkness and into the light. Light, gleaming brightly like the mid-afternoon sun, illuminating, casting away the shadows which had taken a liking to me. Slowly, the voices faded away. Not gone, never gone, just silent. Louder, stronger, more confident than it had ever been before, I heard one voice, my voice. Giving up would have been easier, but loving is right.